So you did JAMB how many times?
3 times. I did JAMB 3 times.
3 times, and you came out as the best graduating student?
So we say.
Wow. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today's episode is very special. We are speaking with someone whose journey is not just extraordinary. She's not just a graduate, she's the best graduating student from the Obafemi Awolowo University, with a remarkable CGPA of 4.97. If you are looking to get into the university or currently battling through examination, meet Susan, who is going to inspire you. Welcome, Susan, and congratulations.
Thank you so much, Wana, for having me here.
Can you briefly introduce yourself?
My name is Akinyiwa Susan Busola. To the glory of God, I graduated as the best student from OAU 2022-2023 session. I'm from Ondo State, Idore precisely, and I'm a pharmacist. I graduated from Faculty of Pharmacy.
So why pharmacy? Why pharmacy?
Okay, as a science student in secondary school, I always liked chemistry. So I was thinking, which way can I apply this chemistry to any professional course, or just why would my chemistry be applicable? So I couldn't get admission immediately after secondary school.
Why?
My dad wanted me to study medicine. The whole story was a lot. So I later went for OAU pre-degree, and even after pre-degree, I still couldn't get pharmacy. That was when the JAMB registrar was changed. So a lot of things actually happened.
So you did JAMB how many times?
3 times. I did JAMB 3 times.
3 times, and you came out as the best graduating student?
So we say.
Wow.
So finally, after being in chemistry, I took another JAMB for finally getting to study pharmacy.
Wow. So, what were your early school years like? Were you always this brilliant, or you grew to be brilliant, or you became brilliant over time? Or how was it like for you?
Actually, my journey is an interesting one. I was like an average student right from when I was in primary school to secondary school, but the defining moment for me was in GS3. So I was privileged to attend a Christian school, just teaching us about faith and everything in God. So that was when I started seeing myself as it's possible for me to actually be the best. And one thing I held on to was the word of being the head and never the tail. I was just average, but just a particular defining moment just changed everything. So.
Was there a moment growing up where you knew you wanted to be different academically?
Okay, for me, a lot of people have talents and gifts, and so right from when I was a child, I thought I didn't have any talent or gift because I was not good at maybe dancing, singing. But since when I started leading the class from secondary school, I was like, okay, I think academics is my way, and let me just focus on that part. And so I just knew that since this is what I know how to do, then let me just go with it.
So what was your hardest year in school, and how did you push through that phase?
Okay, I had 2 major hard times in school. The first was actually COVID. When you're having to use more than 2 years in a class was really somehow, because a lot of my mates we left secondary school together, they had already graduated by then. But then I just felt it's not the first to finish. After all, it's the one who finished well. So that's it. Then the second time was in part 4. Part 4 was really challenging for me because I had issues with my health then. I was down for quite like a good month of the year, and I had to even write exams, even with the sickness, and so I almost gave up because it was tough for me, but thank God I still put through and I'm here. So
Susan, how did you balance academics with personal life, stress and social life?
Okay, for me it's about priorities, For me I had 2 major priorities in school. That was God and academics, because I knew that I needed one to support the other to make it a success. So actually, my academics actually came first in most of it. I was not going to allow anything affect that, because after all, that was what actually brought me to OAU in the first place. I did other things. I won't say I did others. I did business a little, but those ones were just secondary. My primary assignment was academics and, God, of course, because I had to do this. So balancing it requires, when you know that these are your priorities, then you're able to balance it. So I knew that I just had to put in what was required to make the academics practice. In as much as I'm not saying people should not have social life or other things, but of course one has to come first before the other. And it's the one that comes first that you put more effort into.
Oh, wow, interesting. But a lot of people believe that when you're in a relationship, it affects your academics. How are you able to balance being in a relationship? Or were you even in a relationship to start with? How are you able to balance being in a relationship if you were with academics?
For me, at first, I was not in a relationship at first. I think that's what my part for. But then, it also depends on whoever you are in a relationship with. For me, the person that we were together my support system, like, was always wanted me to also be the best. So that was why I was able to balance it. So he knew that when it was time to read, I have to go and read, I have to be aware. So just I will not say no, but at least make the person know what you want to achieve. Let the person know your goals. So it makes it easier.
So it means we should find a support system where we're at school, right?
Yeah, of course. And your relationship is not only your support system. Your parents, your friends, your family, they are
support. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's true. So yeah, but there are times you almost give up, and how did you bounce back?
There was a time when, like, one of my test results were not encouraged at a particular time. So I thought that was the end of it. Like, maybe it wasn't possible to be the best. After all, my test would determine what I was going to have at my final score. But then, seriously, sometimes it's you that will actually encourage yourself. I just told myself that it's not over until it's over, really. So it took me also encouraging myself and say, see, until when I see the final thing, I'm not going to give up on it. So sometimes you holding on to what you actually want it's a lot. It goes a long way. So I could have given up then and say I'm no more fighter. I'm not striving to be the best again. But if you ever gave up, that's the person that actually focused. So,
wow, interesting. Wow. Thank you. So what would you say is one habit or mindset that helped you rise above the rest? Okay,
the first thing is I've always told myself that no matter what happens, I'm a success. I've always believed in myself right from when I was a child. I always saw possibilities. Sometimes the situation might not look like it, but I've always seen like the positive side of it. So that's one thing. I've always believed in myself, and this really helped in times when it was so difficult. And another habit I would say helped me was I like to pay attention to details, and this helped me even in my schoolwork. Where some people want to read a particular part, people don't, but me, I want to read everything because I'm not sure. I don't want to play games with this part come out. I want to get everything. So that's why I pay attention to details. So I think it helped me over others because I love good people too in my class, but then paying attention to those little details, it made a difference.
So I was reading like for you. Were you reading like every day back to back, or did you read before the semester even began, or was it after classes you had to like pick up your book to read what you were taught in class? I was reading like for you generally.
Okay, there were times where I used to have breaks in between classes, so I used to make use of those times. I didn't usually, it's not as if people ask me that, do you read all day? No, that's the truth. But I make every time count. If I say I want to read for 3 hours, I make sure I'm reading for that 3 hours. So sometimes it's not about how lengthy the reading is, but it's about, are you sure you're actually getting the job done while doing it? So just dedicating specific times to reading. Maybe 2 hours daily, I must cover this. So I was not reading before the session, except maybe sessional courses, but I was not reading before. I was just like making the time count. Maybe there's a break and just trying to cover up before the next lecturer comes in. But it doesn't mean I was reading, or at least I did other things apart from school. So not just reading, but making the time count. Whatsoever time I dedicated to reading, I make sure that I was actually reading them. Also pay attention to details very, like I said, I treat past questions. I normally say there are no new questions anyway. So I'll make sure that my past question is very important.
Wow.
I had study groups too. I read with my friends and we discussed. Although we read separately, but we always had time to discuss together to see from people's points of view.
Like-minded people, right?
Yeah. So past questions, reading more than once, paying attention. Of course, being in class. Because being in class is like the first thing. I didn't used to miss classes when I was a student. So
okay, so what does being the best mean to you? What does being the best mean to you?
Okay, first, being the best means gratitude. Because looking at my journey, from pre-degree to another department before finally getting pharmacy, it's obvious that God was actually in it, because there's no way I could have done this, and it was really challenging, but I have to be grateful to God, of course, for helping me and supporting me throughout the journey. Then the next, be the best, makes me see it's an eye-opener. It makes me see possibilities. Now I know that I can set goals and achieve them, really. So it makes me know that there is much more to me. And then being the best also means I have to add value. I have to now be a blessing to impact the younger generation and to just be a blessing to them.
What advice do you have for someone who's currently in university that is feeling lost or overwhelmed?
Okay, for me, the first is calm down. When the pressure there's a lot going on at that point, but you have to first chill.
Calm down. Yeah.
Calm down first. Then the next thing is, I think you should just identify what the problem is. Is it a case where someone is going to the exam and there's total black and you can't remember anything in the exam? So what is making that happen? Is it because you didn't start reading earlier? You have to model up everything at the end. So I think identifying what the problem is, because you have some people doing well too in your class.
Yeah.
So from then you can, maybe if you are humble enough to ask them to know what is making them do well. Some people, it's maybe because they understand the lecturer system, or maybe because they're always in class. And so identifying the problem that's when there will be a solution if you can identify what the issue. So just calm down, identify the strategy. Okay, this is what I will now be doing well. So I think that would be my advice for anyone that is overwhelmed.
So everyone should calm down. And
calm down first, chill first.
First thing is to calm down.
Then identify what the issue is.
So what would you say to secondary school students aspiring to enter OAU or any top university in Nigeria or wherever in the world?
For me, I remember when I never wanted OAU. That was the funny thing.
Oh, wow.
I remember after choosing OAU pharmacy, someone said that's the toughest department in OAU campus. So the first thing I'll let them know is, first, you're coming to meet a lot of smart people. So you might be the best where you are. OAU is a school where there are a lot of smart people. And so that's why you have to be humble enough.
Yeah.
Like, can you just let yourself down? I used to say pretend like you don't know anything when you're coming in. So be open to learning from other people that know. Just pretend as if you don't even know anything, because you actually meet a lot of smart people here. And OAU is not about the person that reads most. It's the one that reads smart. And challenges, of course, the OAU will stress you. But I say if you can overcome the stress here, there's no way you can actually not survive.
So what is next for you, Susan? What are your dreams moving forward?
Okay, now, being the best, there's a lot of prayer. People are expecting much from me, you get. What are you going to do with? So I tell myself, this brain, I want it to be a blessing to God and also to humanity. So based on my research interest, I have interest in drug discovery and development. So I like to go for my postgraduate studies, of course, in top schools, to also contribute, to be a blessing to everyone. So just drug discovery and development, postgraduate studies is my next plan for now.
Wow, that's great. That's great. Thank you, Susan, for sharing your light with us. It was really great to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Alright guys, so as you've heard so far, Susan's journey is a proof that with faith, consistency and hard work, excellence is possible. So if you've been inspired today, like and leave a comment for Susan. Also share this video to someone who needs an extra push in their academics.